Morning Artesia radio show. We have Mayor John Henry is with us, and we're talking about last night's Artesia City Council meeting and some of the things that were discussed. The budget's looking pretty good, and
budget's looking really, really good.
The rec committee is recommending things.
Yes, they're recommending recreation, so it's very good. A couple other good, exciting things I think that folks will be happy to hear. Police and fire are doing very well in recruiting. I know that's been a hot topic for quite some time. Chief Hope, we were able to get quite a few in last night's meeting signed on. And after talking to him, I think we're only 3 down at this point, which is the best we've been in
long time.
He said a really, really long time. So we're getting much closer. I know he's working hard at even trying to shorten that even smaller. So folks should feel good that police and fire are both picking folks up. We had one new police officer announced last night. They were at the meeting, and then of course we had a promotion as well in the police department last night. So lots of great things happening there. Getting a lot of good recruits in to help us out where we needed it. A lot of them are already certified, which is really important because then they can go right to work much quicker rather than uncertified that obviously have to become certified. So lots of hard work done by both departments in their recruiting efforts. And I did also want to I told the council last night that real proud of the hard decisions they've had to make at this point to help us get to the point where they could get those recruiting. So really good work on the city council's part of it. I know there were tough decisions, but they did well and planned well.
So what are the things that they had? What are some of the things they had to do when you say the tough decisions they had to make?
Well, we had to get our salaries in a spot that was much more competitive with everyone around us. So it was a lot of hard work, making sure we got them right, making sure we were more competitive. Obviously, we're not the top of the market, but we're much more competitive. Whereas before we just weren't. So it was I don't know how many meetings we had to try to get that right, but it was a number of meetings to make sure we got it right because we all knew how important it was. So that group, they worked hard and they got the numbers that they needed to get it done. So folks should feel really proud of that group and all the efforts, and not just for police and fire. They've made a lot of good efforts. That budget committee has done a lot of work trying to get some money moved to where we can make some great things happen. The tree projects, the parks, the things like that. So they've been working really hard to make sure we're spending our money wisely when we do spend it, and to benefit the citizen, which is exactly what we should be doing. I mean, that's the job of a government, is to make citizens' lives easier and better. So they've done excellent work. So folks, when you see them, y'all should thank them and be proud of what kind of work they're putting in, because it is a lot of effort. And I think sometimes people forget about that. They think, oh, it's just no big deal. Or, we get the calls of, well, you should be fixing this, but not that way, fix it this way. And I mean, everyone has suggestions, and we understand that. And all those are taken into account as we're having these discussions. So our council at the moment's men. So when I say men, I'm not trying to exclude anyone, but the men of that council right now have really, really buckled down and listen to what y'all have to say, try to put it into action, and doing the best we can for y'all to see the results. So really good work by the department heads to then take those actions and run. Of course, they're a big part of that conversation, as well as here's what we need, working with the council to try to figure out how we can get it done. Mm-hmm. So lots of tons of great work happening in the city. Folks should be really happy. We get stopped quite regularly. People are noticing the changes, which is good, because I think when folks start noticing the changes, then they start wanting to participate in the changes. We've talked about that a number of times with the trash pickup, things that are as simple as trash pickup. If you see something up, pick it up, throw it away. People start doing that more often. They start paying attention, and that's what we really need, in especially a small city like this, where we're such a community-minded city anyways. It's nice to see a lot of folks thinking and working towards that. So
you'd mentioned a couple of weeks ago that the city was short a code enforcer.
We are
still short.
Still short of code enforcer. Yes, we've got a couple. We've been pretty lucky here and there where you think one's coming on and then all of a sudden they're gone. And so It's been a lot of hard work. I know Jim is working really hard at trying and keeping up with code enforcement. I think that's one of those things folks don't truly understand because they think, oh, if it's dirty or something's wrong, you should be able to fix it immediately. But the process that they have to go through to get some of these things accomplished is tedious and long and has to be followed by the books. And he's doing a really good job. And I see differences in some spots that have got those letters and actually cleaned up. I've seen some that started to clean up, and then I drove by one just the other day, and I thought, oh, darn it, they've slipped backwards a little bit now. So, we got to constantly keep those reminders out there. But lots of work in code enforcement, and I understand that's a big concern for a lot of folks, and we take it very serious and working very hard to get those accomplished.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure you get suggestions.
Lots of suggestions. Yes. And a lot of good suggestions
about this place over here. You need to do something about that. So, but you're right. A lot of good suggestions. Because sometimes you don't know until somebody points it out.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. And then even when people say, "Well, you should do it this way," that's a great suggestion. But unfortunately, when you're government, you have to follow a certain set of rules that they have established for us. And to where as business folks, you would think, oh, yeah, that makes the most sense. But in government, everything doesn't always make sense. So you have to follow the things. So
follow the process.
Yeah, we kind of get stuck sometimes, but lots of hard work being done there. So it's good.
Good. Did you have some more?
Yeah, so, the other committees that kind of met, and one that we've talked about sort of on this show, but I'll mention again, our government committee. In the past, I'm not sure what all they've done, but Mayor Pro Tem Yautzy kind of made the recommendation. I thought it was a really great recommendation to kind of shift that into maybe we can pick up some other departments that don't get a voice as often or don't get heard as well. So like the airport, the museum, the library, they needed a spot to go, and that government committee was a great spot. So they're able to bring us concerns, bring us problems to help us understand, okay, do we need equipment? What needs to happen? And so we did meet this last week, and there were a couple departments that we just had to talk through some stuff, get some ideas, bounce some things off of each other, and I think that's going to go in a really positive direction now to help them get where they needed to go. So that was a really good suggestion, and I think it's been a very effective committee. Like I said, I'm not sure what they did in the past, so I'm sure it was great in the past too, but I do like this new shift on the way we're looking at it, because it gives so many folks a new voice that might not have had such a strong voice with a committee and a group. So I really like to see that. We'll put our economic development in that committee as well, so they'll have a place to go and talk and bounce things off counselors, and so the counselors can be up to date on what's happening. So another great change, I would say, within those committees, and that was a current council member that's the Mayor Pro Tem that made that suggestion, and that's what we have to do. We've got to continuously figure out how do we make it better, make it more efficient, and make it easier for folks to make sure we understand the problems so we're able to fix the problems.
Yeah.
Or at least have opportunities to, I hate to call things problems, they're opportunities to do better. So that's kind of where we try to head with that. Real quickly, I don't know how much more time we have, so I'll try to.
Got a good time here.
Trying to jam a whole bunch of stuff in there, because it's always exciting. We've already talked about the dog park. That's exciting. Tree trimming on the draw is completed.
Okay.
So they should be all done with the draw. They've completed Central Park. I think they're headed to the museum, and there's another park they're going to go hit and finish that up. And then the tree trimming for this year should be wrapped up. That was a huge expense. Really needed to happen. We had some hollow trees. We had a lot of limbs that were problems, and that becomes very, very dangerous. So, some people think, well, why'd you wait? Well, it's not. You have to. I mean, you can't have those trees fall. That's going to be a bigger problem.
Have another wind event or something
exactly.
like that.
Exactly, and we know that it will most likely be windy in Artesia again at some point. So
it is. That's
I'm
true.
not a great predictor, but I'm pretty confident that's a good thing. So we got those all worked on and cleaned up, and I know some people are upset. Well, why'd you cut the big tree down? Well, it's not because we want to. It's because they're hollow and they're going to fall down. So we got to cover now. Byron's real big in his group. John A. is take a tree, plant a tree. So we'll make sure. I'm not sure what they've picked out, but we'll get some new trees put in there where they've had to take trees out. So to continue to that cycle to happen. Obviously, the 20th Street project, lots of people see that, have understood that. That project hasn't done much because, thank goodness, we have been blessed with a lot of rain. But with a lot of rain comes a lot of delays, and so that one is a little bit behind, possibly. We're not positive where that days are going to fall in. So when folks see it, understand it. I was working on a deal right next to it yesterday, checking on a house, and it was a big mud puddle.
Big puddle, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got to get that resolved, and hopefully get that project back on.
It's disruptive, obviously, for the people that live there that usually access that street. But having Grand open, it's less disruptive to everybody else.
I think
who had to divert traffic and everything.
Right. I think you're exactly right. When you have one of those major intersections down, it really makes it difficult for just simple movement of popping through town to get somewhere, and then, oh man, I forgot. And I used to always do that, especially when they were working on 26th back in the day. I don't know why I would still go right, and I'm like, you know better. I mean, you can see the trucks from my driveway, and I would still go that way. I don't know, my brain didn't work. But
so I mean, obviously, it's disruptive for the folks that live there, but maybe not as apparent since Grand is
right.
intersection is open.
and there's better access for most of those houses, because you got the long streets. So a little bit better, but still, obviously, something we want to get done quick and efficient.
That's going to go all the way to Hermosa eventually. The stretch from Grand to Maine, is that on the list at some point?
I think that is on the list. You'd have to ask Byron. That we're coming back to that at the end.
At the end. But that's going to be a major...
That'll be a big
deal there.
Thing, yes. Yeah. So, that'll be exciting. But yes, that project's been slowed down, but kind of... out of our control, but we're not going to complain. Rain's good. We need it.
That's right.
All the moisture we can get, we'll take. So, Industrial Park, the new addition is they've got the roads cut. They've got the retention pond going out there, so that's moving really well. That'll be a great benefit to the city. Hopefully, get some more spots out there for growth, which is obviously what we all want. New companies, new whatever we can get out there is obviously the intention for it. So, folks should be excited about that. What's coming out there as well. So. Lots of exciting things happening in the city.
All the water wells online and all the storage tanks online.
Yes, we had a little hiccup. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Byron and his group jumped on it right away. Something about a wire was messed up, and it thought it was doing this, but it was doing this. And so once they got that squared away, it got right back to where it needed to be. And
isn't that amazing?
It's kind of like your equipment. It's one little tiny thing, and it can throw your world in a hiccup for a second. And
sometimes there are very little things that don't cost a lot of money, and sometimes there are very little things that are made of unobtainium.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah, sometimes I look and like your little sheet there, I keep going back to it, but you think it's got to be like a $5 fix. They're like, no, that's a $1,000 part. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, man. I mean,
I know
what?
I'm always shocked, but I'm never surprised.
Yeah. But see, I come from Cloudcroft. We do all things wrong up there, apparently, because if you couldn't fix it with baling wire and some duct tape, it didn't need to be fixed. We were good with that.
That's right. Well, I kind of see that attitude at the Eddy County Fair. There's always the little piles of baling wire sitting around, so if you need to tie something together.
It fixes everything.
Yeah.
So, I've seen mufflers. It works,
Of course. So
I don't need that $7,000 part. Baling wire that muffler on. We're good. Let's go.
We're good for now.
For a minute.
That's great. Well, we've got about a minute left. Great ways for folks to reach out to council members. Is it through like the website? Is it just call City Hall?
I think most folks apparently most folks have my number, especially. So call. We've had some really good meetings with some concerned citizens about different things, and we're able to talk that out. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion, because rumor mills, and you start adding things, and then it gets out of control. So, hey, anytime y'all have a question, concern, please call me, call your council member. I know they get lots of phone calls as well. So, and get what's going on. Don't continue a rumor mill, please. That doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the city. It doesn't help you. Get the right information and make sure we're passing the right information. So, best way to contact us. Lots of great things coming up in Artesia. Obviously, we've got the trick or treat Main Street, all these different activities. Lots of ways for your kids to be active this week. We've got fun things coming up. I don't know that I'll be here before the Balloon Fiesta. I'll be here as a commissioner, so we can talk about it then. But
Yeah.
you got the balloons. You got lots of exciting things to look forward to. Obviously, Bulldog football and off into the playoffs, it looks like. So
Oh, yeah.
plenty of things to do coming up. So get excited. It's fall.
There you go. Mayor John Henry, thank you so much.
Thank you.